In this video, I'm going to show you how I achieved this style using 3 yards of Ankara fabric. You can actually use any fabric of your choice. So let me show you how I achieved this in just 20 minutes. Hi guys, welcome back to another interesting video. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to cut and sew this beautiful dress you're seeing right here on the screen, and I'm going to be using just 3 yards of Ankara fabric. You can also use crepe fabric or any fabric of your choice to make this dress. So I went ahead to place my hot iron on the label that's on the fabric here. This is just to help me pull this out easily. All right, can you see? So this is why I had to place my hot iron on it. So I'm going to now open this fabric and cut out the part I'm going to be working on. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out this part here, and you can see it's on fold here. All right, so I'm going to fold it in this way. Make sure while you fold, you measure to be sure that what you folded is your round bust divided by 4 plus extra inches. All right, so my round bust divided by 4 plus extra inches, and I'm just going to go ahead and iron it out just like this. So once I'm done ironing this out, next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to first draw a line at the top of this fabric to serve as my shoulder line. From that point, I'll come in by 3 inches for my neck width, and I'll come down by 3.5 inches for my neck depth. I'm going to use my curved rule now to connect this to give me my neckline. Next, I'm going to now place the tape on the shoulder line here to take half of my shoulder measurement, and from that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll connect it back to the neckline just like this. Once I'm done with that, next thing is to get my armhole depth. Now my armhole depth is 8 inches. If you don't know how to get your armhole depth, just go ahead and divide your round bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. Whatever that gives you becomes your armhole line. All right, so I went ahead to connect a straight line across, and from the shoulder line I connected a straight line down to my chest line. All right, so this line here is known as the chest line. So I place my tape from the shoulder down to get the midpoint of the line, and I marked it there. So I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. All right, so on the chest line, I'm going to mark my round bust divided by 4 here, and I'll use my ruler here to connect my armhole. All right, so remember the line I drew here is my chest line, which is also going to serve as the bust line. So after connecting my armhole, this is what it looks like. Next thing I'm going to do is to now add 1 inch here for stitching allowance. All right, so when you mark, add 1 inch for your stitching allowance. So I place my tape from the shoulder line. I'm going to mark the full, like my waist, shoulder to waist line. All right, so shoulder to waist line for me is 17 inches, but I marked 18 inches. I went ahead to draw a straight line across. On the waistline, I marked my round waist divided by 4, and I added 1 inch for stitching allowance. Then I connected it from the chest line down to the waistline. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the neckline. I'm going to cut out the shoulder area. I'll cut out the armhole and every other part. Please note that this dress we are trying to make here has like the upper part and the down part, which is going to serve as the skirt part. So once we are done cutting out the upper part, we are just going to also go ahead and cut out the skirt part. So this is how my center front looks like. I'm going to now place it on another fabric to cut out the back pieces. Okay, so once you're done cutting this out, just go ahead and place it on another fabric and cut out the back. So I'm going to fold this fabric into 2. All right, so I'll just try to check where the back and the front is, I'm going to fold it inward this way, and I'm going to now place this other one on top of it. So once you fold it, just place it on top, and before you cut, make sure you give about 2 inch or 1.5 inch for your zipper allowance at the back. Please note that the back is going to be having a zipper, so please make sure to mark at least 2 inches for the zipper allowance. Okay, so I've marked, and I'm just going to go ahead and connect this into a straight line just like so, and I'm now going to iron everything out straight so that it's not rumpled. Okay, so just go ahead and iron it out, and you're going to now place your front piece on it this way and then try to trace it out. So the only difference between the back and the front is the zipper allowance line and the neckline. So the neckline for the back is going to be different from the neckline we have here or at the front. So I'm just going to bring my tape. All right, so the back is going to be having 1 inch of neckline, so that by the time we are done stitching, it will now fall into 1.5 inch. Okay, I hope you understand. So I'm going to now come to this shoulder area here, make a point, and from this point I'm going to now connect a straight line across this way. From the shoulder, connect a straight line across, and you're going to extend your zipper allowance line across just like so. So once you've done that, from that point you're going to come down by 1 inch, and you're going to now connect it. So I tried using my armhole, but it didn't really give me what I wanted, and then I had to use my free hand to connect this just like this, so that by the time we are done stitching this, it will now fall into 1.5 inch. I don't want the back to be too deep, so I'm just going ahead to trace out every other thing. So once you're done cutting this out, you're also going to separate the back because it has to be 2 pieces. So the back is not supposed to be on fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and separate the back so that I'll have 2 pieces for the back. So this is how the back is supposed to be. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pipe my neckline, and I'll be using a bias for this. So I'll place my bias on the neck area here on the right side. So place it on the right part, and you're just going to go ahead and pin it down just like this. So I'm going to pin it through to the upper part here, just like what you see me doing here. I'll continue pinning till you get to this point here. So this is what it looks like. I'm just going to head over to my machine and stitch it down with 1/2 inch, and then turn it over to the wrong side and top stitch on it. All right, so I'm also going to repeat same thing for this other side here. I'll pin it down, I'll come over to this area and also pin down, just to hold everything down for you guys to understand. All right, so once I'm done, I'm just going to cut out the excess I have. All right, cut it out, stitch it down, and this is what I have. I also did same thing for the front pieces. So this is how the front and the back looks like. All right, so right now we are going to join our shoulder. So we are going to place them right side facing each other just like this, and you're just going to head over to your machine and stitch it down. So I'm just using my pins to hold it down so you know exactly where we are to stitch down. All right, so just the shoulder area here, and I'm going to repeat same thing for this other side. I'll place them right side facing each other, and I'm going to make sure to pin this down, head over to my machine and stitch it down using 1/2 inch. So guys, this is what I have here after I was done. This is how it looks. So the back and the front are now together, and the next thing I want to do is to cut out my sleeve. So to cut out your sleeve, you will need to fold your fabric into 2, And now you are going to mark the full length of your sleeve where you want it to stop. So I want mine to stop at 10 inches, but I marked 11 inches because I'm going to be folding the end of my sleeve. Now that you've gotten that, the next thing to do is to now come in from the upper part by 4 inches. This 4 inches is going to serve as your sleeve cap. Connect a straight line across just like so. Can you see? Once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do now is to now come over to the center part here. All right, just make sure you connect it. Come over and divide this by 2. Just fold your tape just like what I'm doing here. Mark a point. So after marking that point, the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure my round armhole on the dress here. I'm just going to measure to see what I have here. All right, so I'll measure to see what I have. Whatever you have, you're now going to come down to this first line and then mark it here. So from the upper part, you're going to connect it downward like this, and from that point you just connect it down to this point here. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't know how to cut out a basic sleeve, I already have a detailed tutorial on that. You can go check on my other videos here on YouTube. You will see a video on how I showed you guys on how to cut out a basic sleeve. All right, so now at the end of my sleeve, I'm just going to take the measurement around where I want the sleeve to stop. Whatever I have, I will divide it by 2. So I wanted it to stop at 6 inches because I had 12 inches, although I went ahead to mark 8 inches. All right, 1 inch is going to serve as a stitching allowance. Remember, we gave 1 inch of stitching allowance while we're cutting the upper part of our dress. So I'm just going to go ahead and then trace this out. All right, so this is it here. I'm just going to open it up so you see this is how it looks. I'm also going to place another fabric and then trace it out. All right, so I'll fold this in this way and place it on top. This is just to enable us get our second sleeve. So my fabric is somehow not enough, but I'm just going to try and manage what I have here. All right, so I'll place it this way and cut it out. Once I'm done cutting this out, I have 2 pieces here. As you can see, I also went ahead to notch the upper part. All right, just go ahead and notch it. So you're going to bring your blouse or your dress at around the areas where we stitch our shoulders. You're now going to bring your sleeve on that point where you notch your sleeve, place it directly on where you joined your shoulders. All right, and you're just going to go ahead and keep pinning this. Make sure you're placing this right side facing each other. So I'll keep pinning this across. I'll pin until it gets to this point. All right, and I'll proceed to this other side here. I'll keep pinning it all through. So I'm also going to repeat same thing for the second sleeve, and then I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and stitch it down using 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. All right, so by the time you are done, you have something looking like this. It's not straight yet because we've not ironed it. And I'm also going to fold the end of the sleeve. I'll first fold in 1/2 inch and then fold it again and stitch on it. So let's do this. And this is what I have here, guys. After I was done, I went ahead to fold this end of my sleeve just like I said. After folding it, this is what I have. I also did same thing for this other side here as well. So this is how it looks right now. So this area here is going to be our zipper allowance line. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and pin this down yet, but if you feel like it's not necessary, it's fine. All right, but I just went ahead to pin it down so you know that that area is for the zipper allowance. I hope you understand. So I'm going to keep this aside now and let's work on the skirt part. I'll first pick up the front pieces. All right, so what I'm doing is just to go ahead and iron it out so that everywhere is looking very straight. So I've already cut out my Ankara fabric here. I cut this out using my round hip divided by 4 and extra inches. All right, so I also have I make sure to cut this on fold. So remember, the fabric or the upper part, I cut it out using 18 inches. Now I want the full length of my dress to be 56 inches. So 56 inches minus 18 inches, I use the remaining inches to cut out the skirt part. I hope you understand. The upper part is 18 inches and the down part, I'm just going to go ahead and extract 18 inches and then use the remaining inches to cut out the skirt. But while you cut, make sure you add 1 inch because you are going to fold the end of your skirt. So I went ahead to place my tape from the waist area down to my hip. Waist to hip for me is 9 inches. I connected a straight line across, and on the hip line I'm going to mark my round hip divided by 4 and I added extra 1 inch to it. On the waistline, I marked my round waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch of stitching allowance. Remember, we added 1 inch of stitching allowance to the upper part, so you do same thing to the skirt part. And at the end of my skirt, whatever I have on the hip, I'm going to minus 1 inch. So I minus 1 inch from the hip and I marked it at the end of my skirt, and I'm just going to go ahead and connect a straight line across. It's as simple as this. Just connect a straight line from that point to the hip line. So this is what I have here. I'm just going to smoothen this area so it's not looking very sharp. Once I'm done with this, I'm just going to go ahead and trace this out. All right, so remember, from the waistline, you first mark your round waist divided by 4 and 1 inch of stitching allowance. On the hip line, your round hip divided by 4 and 1 inch of stitching allowance. Then whatever you have on your hip minus, you're going to remove 1 inch from it and then put the remaining inches on the end of your skirt. So this is it here. I've gone ahead to place another fabric this way, as you can see. So I went ahead to mark a straight line across to serve as my zipper allowance, and I'm using 2 inch for it, just the same way we did for the upper part. And I went ahead to place my front piece on top of it, exactly on that line, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace this out. All right, so just go ahead and trace it out just like what I'm doing here. If you don't understand what I'm saying here, just go ahead and place the front piece of your skirt on top of this way and trace everything out. So by the time you are done, you're going to have the front and the back. So for the back, I just have to cut it on fold. All right, the back has to be 2 pieces, just the same way we did for the upper part. So I'm just going ahead to just cut it like this. All right, so the front is on fold and the back has to be 2 pieces. So this is how the front looks. This is how it looks right now. I'm going to now bring the upper part, and I'm going to place the front piece of the upper part to the waist, to the front piece of my waist, like the skirt. All right, so you place them right side facing each other. So we are going to go over and join them together to give us our dress. So we are going to stitch it down. I've stitched this down now with 1/2 inch. I also did same thing for the back pieces. All right, I just hope you understand. So this is it here. I did same thing for the back pieces, 2 back pieces. I hope you know that the upper part has 2 pieces and the back part, the down part, has 2 pieces. All right, so I placed them together right side facing each other and then join them together to give us our dress. So now that we are done with that, the next thing we are going to do now is to fix our zipper to it. So for now, I'm going to come to this point here to where I want my zipper to stop. So I want it to stop somewhere around here, the waist area, 1 inch below my waist, and from this point I'm going in by 2 inches for my zipper allowance line. This is just to guide me on my sewing machine. So once I'm done, I'm just going to pin this first, all right, so that I can be able to stitch down the side. So I'm going to first close up the side before fixing the zip, but just take note that this part here I'll be fixing a zipper to it. So I'll fix a zipper to this point, and from this point I'll stitch straight stitch downward. You're going to stitch your straight stitch downward. All right, so this point where I marked, that is where my zipper is going to stop. So guys, this is what I was trying to say, and this is how beautiful everything looks. I've gone ahead to fix my zipper, and I stitch my stitch straight down to this point. You can see how it looks, and I fixed my zipper. So this is how the front looks. All right, this is how everything looks here. I hope this video was helpful. So for the side, I didn't close this up totally. I made sure to stitch down and stop at my waist area. So I also went ahead to fold in 1/2 inch on the other side till it gets to the down part, and I stitch it down. So this is how everything looks here. Very beautiful. Please let me know if this video was helpful. See you guys in my next video. Bye.